So I was sitting in my mother's basement as usual, wondering what year it is. And all of a sudden I remember, where the hell is my girl Anita Sarkeesian? And then,
several days later,
I get the news. Her website Feminist Frequency is shutting down after 15 years of torture. She came, ruined the video game industry, begged her money and left. The world rejoiced, my skin got cleared, my hairline grew back. It did not. World hunger was solved and we are one step closer to curing cancer. Anita the Oprah of activism, but instead of handing out free cars, she was throwing around insults at you.
Alright, open your boxes. Open your boxes. 1, 2, 3.
Everything is sexist, everything is racist, everything is homophobic, and you have to point it all out.
You are sexist and you are racist and you are homophobic. She was such a hardcore gamer girl she didn't even need to turn the controller on to play those evil, oppressive games. But what exactly happened back then? Well, it's even worse than I remember, especially since I was able to dodge a lot of this back in the day. The first time I heard of her, I thought to myself, I'm sure people will immediately realize she's just some grifter trying to ruin the fun for others. Ain't no way people are gonna listen to her, right? Right? The one thing I just recently learned after over a decade is that there was some cam girl who made fun of Anita. I couldn't believe it. Where she got that idea from and how people reacted, we'll talk about this all. Let's start from the beginning though. Buckle up for the first part of what I like to call the tale of the 3 horsewomen of feminist gaming. Operation Olympics contestant number 1, Anita Sarkeesian. Once upon a time, gamers of all platforms were living and playing in harmony together. Yeah, that's a lie. And then the feminists attacked. They were armed with heavy and dangerous weaponry, like having dyed hair or owning a vajayjay, at least most of them. There were some trans women involved and we of course want to be inclusive here. But most importantly, they had the power of Twitter. Firelord Anita Sarkeesian was born and raised in... who the hell cares about that? Let's get into the real juicy stuff. It begins like any other war starts, with a speech. This time a speech at something called a teleseminar. I also never heard of that term before, but I'll let Alex explain.
Today I'm so lucky I'm with one of the world's top teleseminar, not only teleseminar, but anything on the internet. This is the guy, Alex Mendozian.
Rather than going from seminar to seminar teaching, I did teleseminars. So from the comfort of my home, sometimes in sandals, sometimes in shorts, sometimes in a t-shirt, we teach, and we can even read our notes with a teleseminar and teach internet marketing, teach team building, teach any topic you would ever hope to teach. In the year 2001, we generated about $63,000 doing teleseminars. I thought that was a big deal. In 2001, it became a quarterly income. In 2003, it became a monthly income. In 2004, it became a weekly income. The next year, a daily income. Would you believe in 2006, 16 times we did it in an hour, what I did for an entire year in 2001. Does it take time? Yes, but you can turn your annual income into a monthly income in 3 years or less if you utilize the one-on-many technique of teleseminar.
Now tell us just what would be some of the basics and maybe 1 or 2 secrets that would whet the people's appetites on how to do a great, successful teleseminar.
You need a topic.
Yeah.
So you need a topic, whatever topic that you have, whether it's in real estate investing, team building, sales training. I teach how to conduct teleseminars. And once you have a topic, you need affiliates to help resell that teleseminar. And then there's a call to action, asking people to go to a website or to call in or to send an email, and you can get more people to do that faster, better, with the least amount of effort, with sandals and shorts from your home, if that's what you like to do.
So basically, have an idea, drill that idea into people's mind for a time and then let them do the work for you and money will start flowing. Anita was a good girl at school and she listened well to what Alex had to say, and my god, how successful she was in making NPCs and sheep work for her.
Hi, my name is Anita Sarkeesian. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and my website is neonandchrome.com. And I just want to let you all know how amazing Alex's teleseminar secrets was. It really motivated me to get my own business started. In my current day job, I saw how teleseminars could change the face of your business and make a lot of money, but I didn't really understand how it worked. And I'm only 23 and I've already started my own business promoting teleseminars for small businesses around me, and it's really made a huge impact on my life.
In March 2011, she started Tropes vs. Women, a 6-part series created for Bitch magazine. What a wonderful name. There she would analyze pop culture and point out what she describes as negative female stereotypes. People would soon find out about the series, because it's the internet, and call her viewpoints out as radical. Until June 4th, 2012, when Anita announced a spin-off project focusing on video games alongside a Kickstarter campaign funding it. Sarkeesian was inspired to start a video series on female representation in gaming after she was invited to speak to developers at Bungie. Thanks guys. Already knowing about her deranged worldviews, people were worried and started to raise even louder protests. Some had a little too much time on their hand and went on to vandalize her Wikipedia page. So they changed the text and page category, referring it now to Nazi Germany, added external links to degenerate websites, uploaded a picture of a drawing of a woman doing sweet love to a man, and captioned it "Daily Activities." And the funniest of all, the shocking revelation how she never tips the delivery driver.
I just want to say, it's a nice house for a $5 tip.
You're welcome.
But who were the people that terrorized Anita's life? Well, a lot of them were children, like literal children. And of course we have our hardcore gamers out there and regular trolls, the loudest minorities. Come on, we all know your average toxic gaming session in Call of Duty.
I had 2 bullets in
I want to make it clear, there have been numerous people that went way overboard and I do not condone this. I also don't accept Anita's deceptions, but this type of behavior helped her give her a platform to begin with. They've done more harm than good and should actually be put on some kind of list. Having said all of this, I still want to portray this video in a more lighthearted way. About a month later, on July 5th, 2012, some guy posted a flash game titled Beat Up Anita Sarkeesian that was taken down the following day. The creator Bandolin Spur, who made one of those beat-up games before about conservative lawyer and anti-game activist Jack Thompson, was then doxxed by another feminist, Stephanie Guthrie, on Twitter. She contacted news organizations and potential employers in Spur's hometown. A Toronto artist by the name of Gregory Allen Elliott called her out on that by stating her actions were every bit as vicious as the face punch game and asked why she would bring this much attention to Bandolin, who had only 11 Twitter followers at that time. She blocked him, but continued to talk shit about him. One of her supporters even went as far as suggesting his 4 sons were probably rapists because that's the kind of man he would raise. Elliott then compared her actions to fascism and used it as proof for the real nature of modern-day feminism. She then sued for harassment, making it Canada's first trial solely based on social media activity. Yeah, nothing came out of it. It was dismissed, but only after he was restricted from using the internet as a bail condition for 3 years during the process.
I don't need it. I don't need it. I definitely don't need it. I 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 need it!
No! Stop! Stop right there, criminal scum!
Stephanie even proudly held a TED talk about this whole incident. And if you think this has to be one of the most delusional cases of entitlement and victim complex, just wait until part 2 of The Tale of the 3 Horsewomen of Feminist Gaming comes out, with this lovely lady here. While indeed unnecessary and distasteful, the creator of the game Bandolin explains he only did so because Anita has scammed people out of $160,000 and uses being a woman as an excuse. I wanted to express my distaste for what she's doing in a way that she would listen. After getting doxxed, his mental health went into a downward spiral. He was fired from his job for taking 3 months of medical leave for issues he developed because of prior traumatic experiences in life and required surgery. Ben then asked for help on GoFundMe to cover up medical and living expenses and even had to sell beloved items to get by. I think we can agree that this type of method, the Flash game, only contributes to be used as munition by these women to paint themselves as nothing more than victims. It should be noted though, these type of games have been done about many other public figures before, whether celebrities or politicians, and no one bat an eye back then. Also, the money he's referring to is this. Despite all the negativity, there were more than enough bitter feminists and an army of white knights to make the Kickstarter of Anita a success. In just 1 month, they raised $158,917, making it far exceed its initial funding goal of $6,000. And all the attention given to her by her opposers certainly helped in that too. A lot of money, right? Well, apparently not enough for Anita to pay her trans staff. Some of them had to ask for donations online since they didn't receive a salary and worked as volunteers for Feminist Frequency. September 4th, 2012. A Reddit forum gaming pointed out the web series did not launch on the time it was promised to be, August 2012. 1,200 comments would accumulate on that post alone. It stated, not only has @femfrag failed to meet her first due date, she's asking her backers to do her work disguised as a survey. What they are referring to is the update Anita has provided on July 22nd. We anticipate the launch of our first Tropes vs. Women video in late fall or early winter, and we'll be kicking off the series with a damsel in distress video, explaining that the additional funding allowed her to expand the scope and scale of the project. Additionally, in her update, Sarkeesian mentioned her plans to launch a best/worst female characters in video games survey for her supporters to answer. The series did not launch in winter, not even in mid-January when people were getting suspicious again. The first video of Tropes vs. Women in video games was finally gifted to the world on March 7, 2013. The first 3 videos discuss examples of the damsel in distress trope, in which passive and often helpless female characters get rescued by the male hero. Cause God forbid someone creates a game catering towards a male audience. How dare they let them live out their fantasy of being a strong hero that saves the day, using his powers for good and to protect the women they love. You know, every time she posted a new part of her series, people were quick to dismantle her claims. She would hide the like and dislike ratio on her videos and wouldn't let anyone directly prove her faults by disabling comments altogether, preventing an actual conversation from taking place. One time she complained that women were just background characters, referring to a level in Watch Dogs where there were some undressed girls on a stage. Well, the whole mission was about taking out a trafficking ring that these poor women were captured by. A crime that also happens in the real world. If any one of you is a police officer, please refrain yourself from interfering in such cases. Those are not damsels for you to rescue, and I don't want any sexist on my YouTube channel. She would cry about how sandbox games like GTA allow you to gun down and run over women, completely ignoring the fact that you could do the exact same to any civilian there was. And she called Red Dead Redemption sexist, a game that literally starts with a woman saving your butt and nursing you back to strength. Bonnie McFarlane that owns and runs an entire farm and all the countless other strong, independent women this game portrays. Apparently there was a trophy you could unlock by tying up a woman with a lasso and placing her on some train tracks. All the while you enjoy some popcorn and watch the next Monday morning train slowly run her over.
Hello, ma'am.
Well, hello there.
Howdy, ma'am. This chicken is cold. You donkey!
While a little bizarre and kind of effed up, is it really so different to the countless of people that let their sim drown by removing the pool ladder while they were swimming? Now screaming for help and realizing you never cared about them to begin with. You just wanted to live out your little sadistic fantasies. Yes, I know all of your sins, and so do the Sims. Hitman was also falsely represented by her. She showed gameplay footage of a female dancer having been taken out by Agent 47 and thrown into some sort of big chest to get rid of. But Anita completely forgot to point out that the game literally takes points away from you for hurting people that are not your target. And everything she complained about can also be done to male NPCs as well. Again. The developers even went as far as adding dialogue between these women to humanize them and showcase the hostile work conditions they had to deal with.
He said if I didn't entertain his friends, I'd be going to Hawaii.
Hey. Look, you just gotta entertain his friends. Don't let them think they own you. And just think of something positive. We've all been there, honey. Luckily, they don't ask twice.
Just tell me what happens in Hawaii. I mean, it's just, you all say it's really bad. I mean, is it just like a private club? Like the back room?
Yeah, something like that. But it's not something you really want to be a member of. Just be strong, baby. Yeah, pretty girl. You show them how good you are, but just don't say yes to everything they say.
Okay. Thank you. I won't. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Anita also criticized how women in games would ask their male counterparts to end their lives and even thank them for doing so, naming it the euthanized damsel. Literally the scene where Clementine has to make that decision after Lee gets bitten by a zombie, and he thanks her for that. However, many months later on September 15th, 2013, a now deleted YouTube channel Flying Turkeys would leak a very interesting video of Anita to the world. No, not this type of video, you pervert. It's even worse than that. A lecture she was giving at Santa Monica College in California in early 2010 shows her finally being honest once in her life. I will let her speak for herself.
It's a soundtrack of one song, except I'm doing video games. So it's not exactly a fandom. I'm not a fan of video games. I actually had to learn a lot about video games in the process of making this. And also video games, like I would love to play video games, but I don't want to go around shooting people and ripping off their heads, and it's just gross. So hence this is my response to that.
Yeah, our hardcore gamer girl and activist trying to save her beloved gaming industry was not even a fan of video games, and she actually had to do a lot of research. Every sane person that ever doubted her and her claims was questioning even more now how she was able to get a free pass, wondering how anyone could still support her after this revelation. She was a con artist. Funny thing that people pointed out, she used gaming footage from other YouTubers without crediting them. So she wasn't even playing all of those games she proudly displayed, contradicting her own statement about using Elgato to capture her gaming sessions. The saga would continue with a bomb threat here, a death threat there, you know, just your average Tuesday in America. Oh, let's not forget to mention the time her and another professional victim went to the UN, where they basically stated they were experiencing domestic violence online. For someone that really hates the stereotype of the damsel in distress, she sure loves to act like one. She was complaining about getting called a liar and basically considered it a crime when people were able to disprove her claims. Even the authorities were involved, but it basically led to nowhere. You know, something is stupid when the UN itself decides to just dismiss you. In fact, the entire report by the UN on this issue is a mess. It's filled with blank citations, duplicate links, sometimes far apart from each other a few times back to back, other times a little bit more tricky by phrasing them differently, like this. A proper citation would be both of them combined. They use sources that don't exist and sources that do exist but weren't used, like this one about the definition of doxing. Even Jack Thompson was cited. You know the guy I mentioned before that had his own little beat-up game? Little background. He gained a little bit of fame in 1997 when he decided to sue several game developers and actual degenerate websites because he blamed them for the crimes some 14-year-old committed. 2008, due to legal misconduct, his lawyer license was revoked for at least 10 years. The highlight, for me though, is when they used a hard drive link as a source, meaning a link that opens up a file that only you have on your specific computer. So if you don't have that file, it's not gonna open at all. What a waste of time. I can't even begin to understand how that whole speech of Anita would have even started. There was probably some lovely old lady there that has worked for human rights her entire life. She just finished her speech and everyone starts clapping and is wiping away tears in their eyes, and suddenly Anita bursts in and is like, "Ladies and gentlemen, there are memes about me on the internet." Can you imagine every person that has ever experienced harassment online to take it to the UN? They wouldn't get shit done ever again. Not like the UN was ever useful for anything to begin with. Here just a few more honorable mentions of Anita. She seems to have some kind of PTSD from jokes about sandwiches and kitchens.
I'm a pop culture critic, I am a woman, and I'm a feminist. And I'm all of these things openly on the internet. Which means that I'm no stranger to some level of sexist backlash. I've sadly come to expect the typical gendered slurs, insults, and jokes that usually involve kitchens and sandwiches every time I open my computer.
She tells us while she's holding a conference on a stage that looks like a kitchen. Was this intentional? Does it always look like this? I'm seriously confused right now. After that whole popular trial in 2022, she had the nerve to feel sad for Psycho Amber, even after all the evidence found against her. Anita somehow managed to make it about herself. Neil Drunkman himself stated he's a big fan of hers and let several aspects of his games be inspired by her work. Well, we all know how that turned out. That's right, he gifted us our favorite golfer that caused more controversy than Tiger Woods ever has. Only thing greasier than Neil Kackman's hair is his personality. Calm down on all that hair gel, buddy. However, there's an oddity in their friendship, a rare W from Anita. She seems to be on the right side of history in regards to the state of is not real. If you didn't know, Neil himself is one of the chosen people that don't have to apply to international laws because of their sugar daddy America. But they still want to gaslight you into believing they are the victims.
I have done nothing wrong, ever, in my life.
I know this. And I love you.
I love you too, Daddy. Money, please! My money.
And at VidCon 2017, she had an encounter with a YouTuber that was known for criticizing her. He was sitting in the front row, silently listening, but apparently his mere presence threatened her. The same woman that spoke against harassment then proceeded to call him a garbage human being and caused supporters of her to attack him online afterwards.
You Google my name on YouTube, you get shitheads like this dude who are making these dumbass videos that just say the same shit over and over again. It's like, I hate to give you attention because you're a garbage human. Whatever, dude. But it's, you know, like the fact that these dudes are making endless videos that just go after every feminist over and over and over again, I think is a part of the issue of why we have to have these conversations.
Even Joey Salads confronted her.
Why do you guys act like only women face harassment online? You guys constantly feed the trolls. And look, the majority of the people here are the trolls because they like to see you freak out about it. That's exactly what you guys are doing.
I mean, even your language, like freak out about, like no.
See, you're just mocking me.
If you talk about one community facing harassment, that's not to say that no other communities face any harassment.
See, you're harassing me right now when I'm
Can we please rename this question as to
Now look,
next question I'm answering. Next question, please.
You know the guy that made wonderful pranks and social media experiments like transgender in women's bathroom, while not even remotely trying to look feminine?
I got my transgender friend on the phone, and I'm gonna see what they think about my dress. So, gotta pause it.
So great right now. Oh my gosh.
Looks good. Is it transgender approved?
It's 100% transgender approved.
All right.
What are you doing? Ew, get out! What are you doing here? You're not supposed to be in here.
I'm trans.
And now is the time for the main course. The reason you clicked on this video. There is a cam girl that was mocking Anita. Okay, here it comes. How have I never heard of that before? Princess Kora was inspired to impersonate Sarkeesian when her husband saw her wearing a plaid shirt. He pointed out how similar they looked to each other. The only things missing were the hoop earrings and the lipstick. So Kora went out, got them and went on cam like that. I had to look over my shoulders several times while researching this topic, to be honest with you guys. Some people say the way Anita speaks feels like she's reading from a teleprompter, so Kora went really into her role while performing various solo acts and tried to look like she was reading off one too, mimicking Sarkeesian's tone of voice and demeanor. She also made fun of Anita's feminist views with jokes like, "Oh, I'm crushing the patriarchy with my big boobs," or much like Anita, "I'm not a gamer." Just within the first 24 hours of Kora's weekly cam show, some GamerGate supporters started celebrating #WhoopFrag, referring to Anita's channel name Feminist Frequency, or short #Feminist Frag. More like #Feminist Rag. Am I right, guys? People even made memes about Kora, like believes that toxic masculinity belongs all over her huge f***ing tit. It was a bizarre show because people were tipping me to get topless, get naked, whatever, says Kora. But I was also talking about my views on radical feminism and work. I was talking about oppression and exploitation of workers as people were tipping me. Kora claims she's making satire about Anita's radical views and her opinion against that type of work. The later one refers to the criticism Sarkeesian received by her own woke mob when she didn't use the politically correct term worker while discussing prostitutes in video games. She also described it as oppressive and exploitative. Other than that, we don't know more about her opinion on that matter. She didn't further comment on it. Kora's intent was to disprove those notions and to demonstrate that she was just a formally educated woman having a good time, in her own words. Some criticized Kora for allowing herself to become a way to practice revenge. Kora rejected that idea and defends it as a parody, something that has been done to various other public figures before. She also never intended to become a figurehead of the movement, she just stands for some of the things it represented, like freedom of speech and being against censorship. And she knows nothing about video games. She doesn't even know if people are right about Anita not being a gamer, but she would totally welcome the opportunity to have a dialogue with her. When Kora was asked why she thinks GamerGate liked her that much, she stated she doesn't believe it's because they particularly disliked Anita. Instead, they saw she was on the same side as them and was not just some cam girl trying to profit from them. Or at least she hopes they see that. Regardless if this is true or not, it's funny as hell. You could say she was exploiting Anita, which was exploiting feminism. Ah, the circle of grifting. Overall, a sad decline of our favorite feminist Anita. I mean, who's gonna protect us from beautiful women in gaming now?
Wanker.
Never mind. There are no more beautiful women in gaming. Although a lot of time has passed between Anita's first episode and now, it was filled with media tainted by radical feminist views. We are seeing the effects of that ideology everywhere. Entire designs of iconic characters are shifting towards a more unremarkable look. Even Japanese games started losing some of their charm and toning down their funny B-movie style approach by taking themselves too seriously. Hell, some characters were even intentionally made to look like Nikocado Avocado in fear of otherwise being labeled as sexists. Not even movies were spared and we had to see uninteresting, strong, independent women basically everywhere on the cinema screen, and they just don't do justice to the diversity of women at all. But this is a topic for an entire video by itself. I hope we'll get to the point where companies finally realize it's not working out the way they intended and we can soon walk past that. Or are more than 10 years not enough?